Hello, I'm Frost and welcome to my Age of Wonders Planetfall in-depth series. I am covering the Syndicate with the Promethean secret tech. This is part 4, episode 4, and it should be the final part. We're going to start with a quick recap. We're at turn 84, and if we look at the diplomatic tabs, we defeated Mahina. The Kyoko did most of the work. We just came along and mopped up. We then had a little bit of a battle with the Kyoko and ended up taking 3 of the colonies that belonged to Mahina, and also removed some of the Kyoko units from the board, so that was good. Terran in the south here is now at war with me, and he has moved some units all the way up into my home territory, and at the end of the last episode he was trying to attack my colonies up here with these forces which are not too strong, and which I hit with a couple of strategic operations, and also I put in some defenses in my colony. On top of that, I've boosted all my colonies up to their maximum defense, and the plan is to win the game by occupying, I think it's 63 sectors. Let me double check. Yeah, so 63 sectors. Now I only have 29 right now, which doesn't seem like I'm very far along, but that is going to change drastically. If we look at the map in the bottom right hand corner here, I am the red, Terran is the purple, Mahina was over to the southeast, which is an area which I'm now going to acquire my 3 colonies, and they're still in the transition stage. So you can see down here that Tokyo is showing up with some forces. Now that's interesting. I was not expecting that. Okay, so I'm going to have to keep an eye out on Toku, because he looks like he's going to try and make a run on Movindrel, Kilnix and Cancerwil. Now these I'm still acquiring, this last colony of Movindrel, so I'm going to have to shore up my defenses there and be very, very careful. But my main focus is actually going to be on taking this continent and then holding it. The one thing I have got to be very careful of is right up the top here we have a teleport. You can see it right there. Now this teleport takes me across to what is essentially the north part of the next continent. And the Kyoko did bring some units through here, so I want to be very, very careful. And as soon as I finish this quest for the growth, sorry, mind blank there, then I need to make sure I start building maybe some runners and just take them through the teleport and get some eyes on there so I can see what's coming in that direction. So that's kind of really important. I'm building up a few forces here, so I'm probably going to bring 1 hero up just to create a hero-led force up here that can hopefully just deal with these peeps, and then we can get them out of the way. And I'm going to focus on going south. Now I have run the Infiltrate Operations Center on Terran, which allows me to see what he's up to essentially, and also gives me a bonus to my covert operations towards him. So I'm going to be trying to use my siphon, energy siphon, as always. That is been an ideal tool for me. It's allowed me to keep my enemies from progressing too much. I've been stealing their energy, using it for my own purposes, and also reducing their ability to grow their armies, etc. So that's the plan. I need to be aware of what's going on over here, though. This is going to be, let's see, these forces are pretty strong. So I may have to just do an all-out war there as well. I may actually choose to lose these territories here in favor of gaining the ones from Terran, where I'm much better fortified. Obviously then I get the benefit as well of transit infrastructure, where I can move through my own colonies very quickly. I am also going to consider changing my active doctrines. So the emissary gives me 100% more influence from quests, but we're now getting to the point where quests are no longer that important. I have loads of influence which I need to use because otherwise it I can go up to 200, so that's fine. I was worried it's going to cap out at 100. But I really I'm not too worried about this now. I'd rather swap that for a doctrine such as Phoenix colonization protocol, which allows me to ignore penalties from hazards and volcanic. As you can see, I've got some volcanic sectors here, which I need to take back. And then I can use the, I believe it's primed, yes, the Pyrex flash strike, which turns a sector into a volcanic sector. So therefore, I need to make sure that I can make use of that if I use that against my enemies. Right, so there you go. That's where I'm at. So I'm going to start moving my armies here. So I've got 3 there, you can see. So I need to basically just build those up a little bit and then work on going up against House of Tamir, or Terran from the Syndicate. Okay, so we've moved forward 1 turn to turn 85, and the forces of the Syndicate were a little bit more successful than I thought they would be, and they've managed to take my colony in Vostovarov, although it did do quite a lot of damage to them in the meantime, so their forces have been depleted, but I'm going to have to deal with this because I can't just leave that standing. Now, I've managed to build up an army here, which I'm going to start taking across, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move some of my armies back just for now, just so I can deal with this and then be able to move forwards. Now, I've received a proposal from Toku, who wants to offer a truce for 10 turns, so I'm going to take that because I really need to focus on Terran right now, and I don't want Toku causing me problems as well. So I'm going to accept that straight away, and then I am going to start taking forces through my teleporter right here, which drops me right where I need to be, which is next to Vostovarov. So I'm going to bring these units forward. I'm probably going to bring, let's see, at least 2 of the armies, because I have the other army in my capital. Right, let's make sure they're popped right next door to each other. There we go. And in fact, yes, I'm going to take all of them because I believe in the more strength that I have with my armies, the less chance I have of actually losing units. So, you know, if it's kind of an even battle, then we both take heavy losses. If I have an overwhelming majority, then normally I can fight a battle without losing anything. So we're going to go all in with these units. I'm going to move these units into this sector here, just so they're protected by the militia as well, so they're not just left out on their own. And then I'm going to do like a pincer movement and come on up. So, excuse me, that's what's going on there. Just so you know as well, I am doing my anthropologic research. Not so much for the Cosmite, I'm doing okay with the Cosmites. More so for the Zanna relations, because it just gives me another +3 on my influence, which I'm using for my covert ops and so forth. And then, excuse me, and then we're going to move on to the Phoenix Nighttide protocols. And the benefit of that is it gives me +10% extra damage. So that's pretty useful for my armies. And the priming cost is pretty high on it. You can see it's 300. But it's a doctrine that then applies throughout the rest of the game. So once I've done my anthropologic research, I will do my Phoenix Nighttide protocols. All right, time to move on. We've moved forward 1 turn. We're now at turn 86. As you can see, I have moved all my armies now, so I'm literally 1 turn away from taking over or taking back Vostovarov. So that's good news. I'm going to be able to do that on the next turn, and I'll be able to do that with hopefully minimal losses. I have moved my runner that I created and moved him over through that teleport, which had right there. There we go, the teleport there, which took me across to the other island. And as you can see, the units there are actually Kyoko. What I kind of missed earlier, because I thought the color was wrong, the units here are actually not Kyoko units. They are the Dvar. They are from, is it Zanna? Zanna, yes, Zanna, who's at war with me. So the Dvar are always a problem because they always create big armies. And they've already taken the Kyoko territory of Avondriel. And as you can see, there's a couple of units here that I want to take my colony in Raveneth. So that power is 970. and 201, so 1,100, and my colony militia power is 1,040, so it's pretty closely ranked. Now, I had primed plasma ray defense to use on my home colonies, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch that on this colony right here, because my home colonies are not going to be too affected. Now that I'm at peace, or I have a truce with the Kirko, I'm not too worried about my home colonies. It's more down what's going on down here and what's going to happen with the Syndicate. I can also annex a colony here, which I'm going to do for Kilnix as I'm at it. As you can see, I'm focusing very much on generating energy. That's kind of my key thing that I need to do right now. Also, with my colony here in Destineth, I am going to change my food production. So at the moment I'm sharing half. What I'm going to do is go share all and sell excess. So it's going to stop my colony from growing any further, but there's 20 people in the colony, so there's more than enough. As you can see, I've got empty slots that I'm not using. So at the moment I'm getting plus 164. By doing share all and sell excess, I get plus 190. So once again, that's going to increase my energy revenue, and I'm also doing a sector upgrade for my energy sectors to boost that up as well. So that's going to take 2 turns. So I'm really focusing on getting as much energy as I can whilst causing problems for everybody else. The main thing I need to focus on right now is I just need a few turns. You can see I need at least 4 turns to kind of deploy all of these strategic operations. I then need Incineration Strike, which is a very useful one for when I'm attacking a colony. So we're going to pop that at the top of the list for now. And then I've got Guerrilla Strike as well, which is brilliant, which allows me to take a faction that I'm friendly with, for example, the Growth, and I can get them to attack somebody. So I'm going to get them to attack Terran because he's on the same continent as me where the Growth are located. And you can see they've got an army right here, which I really should take over that Cosmite when I can. But they've got a pretty strong army right there, and if I get the Growth faction to attack Terran, they will hopefully head south and start the work for me. So in fact, let's get the Guerrilla Strike and let's prime that now and get that as the first thing we're going to do. Alright, so that's where I'm at. Obviously my colonies are not too happy right now, which isn't too great. And so I'm training up things, or so I'm producing like things like the virtual entertainment plaza where I can, to just try and keep my my colonists on board whilst we deal with all these conflicts. All right, I'm going to move forwards, and we'll see if I can join you on the next turn, or whether I can actually get 2 or 3 turns done, and then come back to you. As expected, we've only gone forwards 1 turn. Lots of stuff happening right now. First of all, my research tap was successful against Zanna, which was very handy. So I managed to steal 594 knowledge, which is like 3 turns or 4 turns worth of knowledge for me. So that's brilliant. So that's moved my research forwards quite a bit. And that means now that I'm now training up my Night Tide protocols. And I only need 4 turns to do that. So that's brilliant. Then I have primed my Guerrilla Strike. So if I do that now and launch that, I have to choose my NPC faction. So I'm getting on really well with the Growth. So we're going to take the Growth. And then I've got to choose. So I was going to go with Terran. Now Terran has a 65% chance. If I go against Zanna, I have an 85% chance. Now that would make sense because obviously Zanna's got quite a few units and that's going to help degrade those units. But right now Zanna's not my main priority. I know that Zanna's taking those colonies down in the other sector, but I would rather focus on Terran right now, especially as we know the Growth are right next door. So I'm going to go with Terran, and then what I will probably do is I will probably prime it again and then use it on Zanna afterwards. So hopefully that's going to work. We're going to find out. No, it failed. So I might have to try that again. It was worth a try, but what we're going to do is we're going to leave other stuff to prime, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to put it in the queue, but I'm going to keep my Incineration Strike priming. And then we are going to deal with Vostivarov. And by the way, you can see I'm at 50% right now of sectors required for victory, which is, if you look at the map down here in the bottom right corner, that's not really a lot, you know. So if I can take this continent, then things should change quite drastically. So what we're going to do is we're going to move all these units around, and we should be able to auto-combat this. as we have so many units. It should be a walk in the park. Safe battle. We're going to auto combat for expediency. And I've won. And I lost one little plasmoid. And I lost a few units though. So you know what? I could do it as a manual combat, but we're really focusing on the strategy. So what I will do is I will close that and I will accept those losses. They're not too drastic. And then just build up some units. I have plenty of energy. So I am going, heroes leveled up as well. So I've almost completed this thing for the growth. So let's get that out of the way. I should be able to do that almost in 1 turn, I think now. It says 5 turns, but it's going to be a lot less than that. There you go, 1 turn, because of all my bonuses. So I'm going to do that for 1 turn, clear that out of the way, and then we're going to start putting some units in the queue. So we're going to go, we lost definitely a guild assassin. So we're going to get a guild assassin, I think. I'm going to build at least 2 of those, and we're going to use our overseer with mods. And I think as well we'll get another indentured purifier. There we go. All right, so we're going to build up some more units, and then we can then bring those south, and they can meet my other units when I come back through the teleport. So I'm going to take all my units here, and I'm going to run back through that teleport, which is going to take me down to where our conflict is going to take place. It's going to take me here, and then we can then head south and go up against Terran. Okay, we've managed to move forwards to turn 89. A few things have happened, which are all to our benefit. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, so Zanna, who's the Dvar, has taken Raveneth, but he came with quite a few armies, or she came with quite a few armies, and has been left with very few because my colony militia was pretty high. So Zanna has basically been wasting her resources on these colonies, which I was prepared to give up anyway. And Terran used a hell of a lot of units. I think he had about 2 full armies to attack Kilnix. And he's taken Kilnix, but once again, he's depleted his forces a great deal. So these colonies down in the southeast are working really well in my favor in terms of just drawing the attention of my enemies whilst I focus on what I need to do. So that's all good on that front. The Paragon is still causing me problems. That they wanted a sector from me. So I've given them the sector. Where is it? It's up here somewhere. There we go. They wanted commercial zones. So I don't want to go to war with the Paragon. They keep causing me problems. So I've given them the sector, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this water sector here. And the Paragon have got a claim on it, but they're not going to complain about it. So, you know what? They wanted that area. I will take Growing Shore instead. So that way it still works out the same. I still have 1 extra sector because right now it's all about the sector count. I've moved all my armies now next to the teleport, so I can start jumping stuff through. So let's teleport through and start moving south. So there we go. We're going to move down there. So I'm going to do that with each and every one of these units. And we are going to take on Terran. So let's just quickly do that. There we go. All right, I'm not going to show you each one because it's taking a little while. But the one thing I do want to show you is that Terran is currently recuperating. So Terran used his commander, his hero, to attack my colony in Vostovenov, and so he's now been taken back to his HQ. Now his HQ is right here, Kaspeth. So it looks like I may be able to do a sort of a clean sweep here and try and take both his main colony, his HQ, and the leader at the same time, which would be great. Now what I want to do is I actually want to try and take Inazun first, and then Dozagal, and then Kaspeth, because then that way I don't have to double back on myself and go, because if I take Kaspeth and take out Terran immediately, then these colonies will become independent, and then I have to use influence in order to take those colonies back. So I would rather literally just go piling through Inazun and Dozagal first, absorb those colonies, and then attack Caspeth. And in that way I will be able to take all those colonies over without having to use any influence, which keeps my influence free for all my covert ops and so forth. Talking of covert ops, I now have Guerrilla Strike ready, and also I have, let's see what else. So I've got my Guerrilla Strike. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch that, and we're going to send it on Zanna, and we're going to choose the growth faction. I assume they're going to be somewhere nearby. It's still a 65% chance, you see, with Terran. So I have, you know what, I have enough influence. Let's go with Terran. And this time it's worked, so that's great. So this means that now the growth are going to be assisting me. And then what I really want to do as well is I'm going to prime my energy siphon again. And if we look, I have an active energy siphon against Zanna, which is going to come through in 4 turns. So not only has Zanna lost a lot of armies attacking one of my colonies, I am now going to make it harder for Zanna to build more, which is going to help me in the long run. And then the emissary, you know what, I'm going to abort that. Yeah, we're going to get rid of that doctrine, and we're going to replace it with the Phoenix colonization protocols, which basically allows me to build in volcanic areas without any economic penalties. And that is very much worth it for me. Make sure that's actually the first thing that's going to be primed. That's done. Because obviously I have these volcanic areas here, all around here. And then also one of my strategic operations, which is the Pyrex Flash Strike, creates volcanic sectors. So if I use that, then I won't be affected by it myself. Right, so that's where we're at. So I'm going to keep on bringing those armies through, and then I'm going to move south. I'm going to let Zanna and Terran mess around in this corner here. They'll probably go for my Cancer Wheel colony, so that's fine by me. And we will see how we progress from there. All right, so we've made it to turn 93. We had a few more moves this time. And I have moved my units right down on top of Inazun right here. I got a deploy monitor out, and as you can see, Caspeth is completely undefended. And I'm going to attack Inazun. Some features were used, some doctrines were used on this colony, and if I can zoom out, we can take a look at that. So void barriers, which reduces my movement points into the colony. But because there's borders that go right up to the edge of the colony there, it doesn't really affect me that much, and I should be able to get all my units in now in one move. And then phase echo guards is just creates 4 random friendly units. So it's not going to be enough to compete against me. The colony militia power there is 1,040, and every one of my armies is greater than that on its own. So we're going to attack there. In the meantime, down here, Terran went and took Cancer Wheel, but it took almost all of his armies to do it. So I'm pretty certain these are undefended. I really need to deploy a monitor there, and I don't know if I can yet. Yeah, let me see if I can deploy a monitor. Unfortunately, there's no hex close enough, so that's going to have to wait. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to be moving. Let me close this. There we go. Hide Arsenal. Is I am moving one of my runners down. Sorry, excuse me. I'm moving one of my units down towards Kilnix and Cancer Wheel so that I can see if there's any armies there, because if there's not, then this is being absorbed in 5 turns and this one is being absorbed in 8 turns. If there's no armies down there, I can literally take them back with just one runner. So I'm going to be moving that runner south and seeing if I can just do a quick snatch and grab on those colonies. And in the meantime, we're just going to go ahead with our plan, which was to take Inazun. So we're going to move the ones at the back first, so I know what distances I've got. There we go. So yeah, we can fit everything in here. And we can attack with absolutely everything. Can we attack with everything? Why aren't you not? Hang on, I need to move. They're all out of move points. This is where one of these should be able to get in there, right? Can you? There we go. All right, safe battle, auto combat. And no losses, so that was absolutely fine. Good, so that job is done. and we can now absorb that colony. That'll take 10 turns. Or we could migrate it. We could, at this point, it really doesn't matter. So I'd rather migrate it to an Amazon colony, just because it's going to take 3 less turns, and that means I can acquire those sectors much earlier. So I already kind of have all my units being built in one place only. So I would rather do that, and that will speed up the process. So that's job done. And I'm now going to move on to Dozagal, which only has 1 unit there. So we're all good. I can upgrade my hero. And so what we're going to do is Kelsang is on charge of some infantry. So I'm going to give a ground commander, infantry commander. There we go. We're going to give her that skill. And that's going to boost up the damage of all my ground units, which are the overseers and the this guy. So I don't need to deploy my monitor right now. And also on top of that, active right now, I have an energy siphon on Terran, just to make his life even worse. I've already infiltrated his operations center. I've got research tabs going on Zanna, so that's going to help my research on no end. And I've got loads of things priming. So I've got Guerrilla Strike priming, which I'll be able to use probably against Zanna, because that will be my next target after Terran. And Sabotage Relations with Locals, which is the same kind of thing. It just picks any kind of nearby faction, NPC faction, and drops their standings. And then I will probably look at what else I can do that is aggressive, and prime that as well. Obviously, I will prime my energy siphon, as I use that a hell of a lot. And we're good to go. Catch up with you soon. Turn 95, and I am moving forwards towards Dozagal. I should be on this turn. Yeah, on this turn I will be able to take Dozagal. Things are going well. If I look at my active strategic operations, you can see I've got my energy siphon, which is going to end on House Tamir in 2 turns. So I don't want to take out House Tamir in the next 2 turns. I want to make sure I get my energy first. I also have an energy siphon on Zanna. On top of that, I have research taps on Zanna, which is going to end in 1 turn. Zanna is aware that I'm doing all this covert ops against her, and her internal purge failed because my stats are much higher. So Zanna is not having a good time with that. And to make it worse, I've got Guerrilla Strike primed. So I'm going to launch that now. I'm going to choose the Paragon, because the Paragon always giving me trouble. So maybe I can keep them busy doing something else. So I'm going to pick Zanna, and I've got a 55% chance. Now at this stage, I've got plenty of influence. I'm perfectly happy with doing this. And it's successful. So Zanna is really not having a good time right now. No research, no energy. She's going to get attacked by the Paragon. So that keeps her busy whilst I take care of House Terran. Take care of Terran of House Tamir. What a mouthful! All right, so that's all looking fine. On top of that, as well, with my expansion plans. I don't see the Syndicate lasting much longer against me. Then I will be able to go across to the east and take back those colonies that were originally I got from the Amazon, and also take the one from Zanna, and then I can just continue rolling east, because I know that Zanna is going to be very, very weakened from all my covert activities, which is the whole point of the Syndicate. So that's good. As well, I have built a colonizer, and it's sitting in Novoneth right now. And the reason why is because we've got this kind of empty territory around here. And so as soon as I deal with Terran of House Tamir, I will then be able to move a colonizer down there, acquire some more sectors. So that's all good. And then right up the top here in my base in Zel Nadar, I have 5 units ready to go, and I'm building an elite unit. I am building the Zenith, which is the biggest, heaviest weapon that you can get for the Syndicate. And on top of that, I've given it all the goodies. So because I have loads of Cosmite, I'm kind of planetfall rich at the moment. This, if I manage that, you will see, let me go down. There we go. Modify, there we go. So I've given it Arc Retaliant Defense, I've given it Hazmat Protection, and static build-up module. So I've got 3 armor, 5 shields, and as well as all the other bonuses that I get. So if we get some manual combat, then I may just even do a separate episode from manual combat with kind of these top end units. So this basically this whole army on its own should be able to be like 1600. So I might be able to just use that on its own to go east and just take out all of the these colonies that were taken back from me. So let's just deal now with Dozagal. So let me see if I can move. Yeah, so this one's got no strategic operations protecting it. So I can just move straight in with this one. And it's a done deal, I think. I don't think there's going to be any issues with this whatsoever. Yeah, safe battle. My power, attacker power is 5,400. So yeah, this is the Syndicate doing its thing now. So there we go. That's now acquired. And it will then be time to me to move over to Kaspeth. And there's literally just one army there. I don't know where the leader is. So we will have to see. I may have to track down the leader later. So we're going to, once again, we're just going to migrate that to Amazon for expediency's sake. And let's just start moving things forwards if I can. Now, they're at the limit of my move points, so I will leave them there for the next couple of turns. And I will see if I need to prime anything else. I'm going to prime my energy siphon, of course. And I might as well prime the plasma ray defense as well. I'll put the energy siphon as my primary thing, though. And we really don't need research taps at this point. We kind of researched out. But we'll prime it anyway. No, it's only going to take 80 energy. I have plenty of energy. And resume on this energy siphon. And let's move forwards from there. Turn 97. And I have taken Dozagal. I am now on the borders of Kaspeth and about to attack Kaspeth. Now the army's here, you know, there's a little bit more. We've got colony militia power of 1,000, another 1,300, 2,300. So there's a 3,000 army, and my army's at 5,000. So I potentially might lose some units here, but you know, this is going to be taking the capital of Terran, so it's something that I want to do. Also over here, you know, I've got my unit down here now, my runner, and I can see that there's no forces down here. There's some forces here, but I don't know if they belong to Terran yet. I could deploy a monitor. In fact, it might be an idea to do that. I know I don't, because what I did is I deployed my monitor over here to take a look at the situation with Zanna. I think it's, is it Zanna? Zanna, yes. So Zanna is not looking too healthy either. I'm not seeing many units or anything, so that's excellent news. My energy siphon was successful, so there you go. I got 174 energy. The fact I only got 174 shows what bad shape Terran is in, because I would expect to get 400 or 500 at least at this kind of level. And then he's started an internal purge, but I don't think that's going to help him. I'm launching my internal purge now, all right, so that it boosts up my operational abilities so that I have more success in my covert ops. So that's all going to plan. Can I do it on this turn? Yep, so on this turn we're going to fight. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an incineration strike, and right there. Oh, and that failed, so that didn't work in our favours. We're going to try the pulse beam cannon, and we'll try that one on. There we go. Alright, so their armies have taken 20% damage, so that's going to affect them a fair bit. Yeah, that's good. So at least that deployed correctly. Before I forget, I'm going to reprime my incineration strike so that it's ready, and my pulse beam cannon. So that's all good. And then we're going to just attack. Once again, I think this is going to be fairly straightforward with a automated combat. Safe battle, we're going to do auto combat. And the outcome will be, I received a proposal from Terran. I assumed that was to offer a truce, but at this stage, really not worth it. So Yeah, that was yeah, I lost about 2 units, so that was definitely the right move to make. And there we go. Now here we go. We can see the rest of Terran's forces. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to sit tight for now, and because it's mountain territory, it makes it very, very difficult for me to move over this. And so I either have to engage in the mountains, which is not ideal, or I have to go round. And if I go round the top, then Terran's going to come back and retake Casperth. I'm still not seeing his leader though, so I'm not quite sure where his leader is. I'm not seeing the little symbol above, so we're going to migrate that into an Amazon colony again because of expediency. There we go. All right, and my heroes have leveled up. And also on the next turn, up the top here, I will have my force completed with my zenith, and I will start moving that south. So I don't want to deploy this colonizer just yet because he may just move up with all these units. So I've got to decide where I go from here. I may move forwards to Tinker Mountains and see how Terran reacts. And then, because then I can always move north if he decides to try and run north and attack some of my colonies. So that's where we're at, and I will come back soon. We've moved forwards to turn 99, and one of the things that I spotted, which I should have dealt with actually, is if we go into my society training, I kind of left these behind, like my forest exploitation and mountain exploitation and ruins exploitation, because I was so busy doing sort of things like operation effectiveness that I forgot one of the important factors, which is that you get expedited movement with these. And so I am now training mountains exploitation so that I get this here, mountain navigation, right, which reduces the cost of moving through the terrain. So right now I'm kind of jammed up in these mountains because I didn't train that. So my bad. But you know, it's not the end of the world, it's fine. It just means it's going to take a little bit longer. So Terran has split some of his forces, so you can see he's moved some offshore and left like just a sort of a token set of units there. So I'm not quite sure what Terran's planning to do unless he's planning to move over to Kilnix, which seems like a really bizarre thing to do. But that's fine, so I'm going to continue moving forwards with this. In the meantime, my big unit that I built, my superpower army here, with my Zenith, with a power of 1,881, has now gone through the teleport, and will now be heading north, going to Cancer Will, and hopefully I'll be able to take that with just that army. If I can't, I will move up to Raveneth, and then over to Kilnix, and then come back to that one once I've dealt with Gainix. In the meantime, because I am now proper rich, I am just building loads of mirages. Now the reason why I'm building mirages, let me add another one, and I'm building it with full modules as well. All my armies are now fully equipped with all their modules stacked because I can afford it. I'm using mirages because they can fly, so they're not subject to any movement issues such as going over mountains, going over water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an army that is literally just mirages with a commander in a mirage, and then that way they can move really quickly around the grid. So that's the plan there. So they're only taking 2 turns each time because my production is like completely ramped up for Zelnadar and it's completely optimized. And yeah, there's not even anything that I can use here to boost up my production. That's literally at max. In fact, I am actually doing sort of fairly well cash-wise. So I could even like get one of my other colonies to build, although I didn't invest in things like the specialist training centers and the elite military facilities, simply because I've not been losing armies and I've not been needed to produce armies. And so I've been focused much more on energy and using my covert ops and building influence. So that's where we're at. Am I ready to move? No, so I'm going to be moving on the next turn. I will then take Gainix and I will get back to you. In the meantime, you know, all my operations are all running as planned. I haven't got anything more against Zanna. The issue that I have now is that everyone's defenses are really up to their max, so my chances of succeeding are quite low. So I'm holding back at the moment and I'm just focusing on just making sure that I've got everything primed. So I've got plasma ray defense. I'm going to get my guerrilla strike in, and I'm also going to prime internal purge, just so I can build up my my alert levels. So I will do that first, then do the incineration strike, and I will come back to you once we've made some progress. Obviously the map's not looking very red at the moment, but that's soon going to change, because obviously these 3 colonies, this one is in 1 turn, then Dozagal will be in 3 turns, and then Casper should be in 5 turns, and then I'm going to take Gainix, and then so that will be in 7 turns. So we should then start seeing the map change quite drastically. All right. So we've moved forward to turn 102, and I have taken Gainix, but I had to use my Pyrex on it because I wanted to make sure that I lost as few units as possible, because obviously there's still this big army over here, and I'm going to need to move my forces around. And so therefore I used the volcanic Pyrex thing, which like makes it into a volcanic area. And I managed to make the colony mine, but this time, rather than turn it into an Amazon colony, I decided to absorb it into a Syndicate colony. And the reason why is because I have the doctrine that makes sure that I'm not penalized by volcanic areas. But I don't know for certain whether that applies to an Amazon colony. So I've decided to keep it as a Syndicate. So I'll take 3 more turns. I'll take 10 turns for that to be absorbed instead of 7. But I think that's the right move to make. But in the meantime, I moved over my heavy unit and took over Cancerville, which was fine. But Zanna has moved in quite a bit of force. I mean, you can see there's a heavy unit here, and Zanna's armies are pretty strong. So I don't want to be caught out. I'm going to lose this unit, this army, if I leave it there. So what I've done is there is a teleport right next to Gainix, right here. And so I've dropped a couple of armies, one army through, who's coming as reinforcements. And then I have one of my commanders who's in a Mirage, as you can see. And I'm busy building up these Mirage units up in my home HQ of Zelnadar. So I've got 3. I've got another one being built in 1 turn, and then so in 3 turns I will have 5 units, and then I can make a full army of Mirages. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making a tactical retreat for the time being, and I'm going to retreat my armies into the mountains so I don't lose it, and so that I can then make a coordinated attack back. But Zanna is going to be causing me some problems, so I'm busy priming all my strategic operations. In fact, I can use my plasma ray. Can I use that yet? No, it's not valid because I was still taking it over. So I think that will become my next turn, but I don't know if I'll have a chance to use the plasma defense on it. I'll try. We'll have to see what happens. But in the meantime, I'm amassing my forces here, and I will bring in my Mirages, and I may even decide to leave Gwyneth Gainix completely. I mean, I can leave. In fact, what I'll do is I'll leave this army behind. Although my morale is pretty low at the moment, as you can see with some of these units. So I've got to be a little bit careful about that. But I will move another army, I think, through the teleport on the next turn, and then start dealing with Zanna. But in the meantime, obviously this terrain here, I've now planted a new colonizer as well. You know, this whole continent is hopefully going to become quite red soon. And I may even build another colonizer once I've got enough energy and start taking over some of these sectors over here that have not been touched and are all volcanic, but I'm not bothered now with having volcanic sectors. It's not an issue for me. All right, time to move forward. Turn 105, and something caught me by surprise. So we've had a little bit of a turn of events here, and what's happened is that Zanna did a bit of sneaky trick on me, and I didn't spot it early enough. And what Zanna did was take this teleport. So Zanna was down here, and if you remember, I was discussing about protecting Cancerville and how I moved my units. So I saw the units from Zanna move slightly south to here, and I didn't pick up that she was going to take this teleport. And so I started moving my units here so I could take Kilnik and then move around to Raveneth. And so I've already put 1 unit in the water, and then I've got 2 units here that are ready to just jump in the water as well to go across to kill Nyx. And I got sidetracked. So Zanna has taken Novaneth, although at a cost, because she lost basically a whole army because I have maximum colony militia. So what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to have to deal with this. But the good news is I've got my 5 units up here in Zelnadar. So because they're mirages, I'm going to take my hero and I'm going to start flying my hero as fast as I can. I'm probably in fact just going to go straight down towards the teleport and get that hero back as quickly as I can. And then I have the army that's in Gainix. I can move that army because there's no other armies around that I can see. So I'm going to start moving this army north so that I can at least get 2 or 3 armies to deal with Novaneth. And then I should still be able to progress with the remaining armies that I have here and deal with Kill Nyx and so forth. So I'm having to split my forces. So it's probably a good job that I was building all these mirages in Zelnadar. So that's going to come in handy. What I may do is I will move them to Destineth so that I've got a stronger force in Destineth, because I've already got my full colony militia there, and now I've got another 12, 14 mirages. So then I can hopefully hold off this army. I may even do some strategic operations against them, but I don't want to do it whilst they're on top of the colony. So basically I've got to do some shuffling around, but we will deal with it. In the meantime though, I have managed to, I thought as Terran is still alive, I've done research taps and energy siphon on Terran, and I've managed to also do a, it's not showing here for some reason, I did a sabotage relationship with locals for Zanna. So now if we look at the growth faction, you can see that they're at war with Terran, they're at war with Zanna, and they're at war with Toku. So those are pretty much all my main enemies. S96 has declared war on me as well. That was bound to happen at some point. So now I'm at war with everybody. Nothing new there for me. So that's where I'm at. And so I've got to deal with this kind of like little surprise, shall we say. But it's not the end of the world, because Zanna's forces are thinning out, and this is going to make this area hopefully easier for me to take. There's the hero for Zanna. I still can't find the hero for Terran. I have no idea where he's hiding. So obviously I've left this unprotected now, which is not ideal. These colonies, I am making sure that I'm adding things like advanced infrastructure, laser defense turrets, although I want to put in my food sector advanced upgrade in there because I want to grow this colony as much as possible if I can, so that I can there's that Terran force. So that at the moment he's sitting there, but he may come in and attack Balad's win. So I've got my work cut out. I didn't choose the easiest win option here, but it makes good for strategy. So that's the whole idea of this series. So we may take a few turns, but we will get there, I'm sure. We're at turn 108, and I made a bit of a bold move, and it worked out. So what happened is I attacked Kill Nyx, and it was going to be a high-risk battle, and then I used all of my special ops. I used my incineration strike, which I'm going to prime again. I used my pulse beam cannon. I threw everything I had, and then just did an auto combat, because like I said, I'm trying to move the strategy side forwards, and I won the battle. And the army commander was there for Terran was there, even though it didn't show the little icon above his head. He was there, so I have defeated Terran. So now all of his colonies are automatically mine, including Gainix. So that has taken a big step forwards for me. That's made things a lot simpler. So my armies are much less than they were. I had 3 armies of 6 here approximately. I think now I've got 1.5 armies, and I still have, you know, the units from Zanna over here, and then I have the units from Zanna up here in Novaneth. But I'm bringing my forces forwards, you know, I'm bringing these guys up, and then I've got my my armies up here and up here. So, you know, I am fairly well stocked army-wise, but I just got to get everybody together now so that I can retaliate against Zanna, get rid of her out of my home area, and then move them back through the teleport so I can then take those sectors. But I am now at 38 out of 63 sectors, and some more should be coming my way soon. In fact, it looks like I can annex another sector for somebody. Is it going to be Gainix? Yeah, I think it's for Gainix. So how much is... Yeah, let's annex this one. There we go. So the sectors are coming through, and you know, I'm making sure that places like Yelandriel, I'm focusing on food production, so the size of the colony can grow, so that I can then acquire these sectors that are next door. So things are looking up. It's taking a little bit longer than expected, but things are looking good. So I am going to amass my forces together and get myself sorted, and then see if we can deal with Zanna. All right, all the ones, we're starting at turn 111. You can tell I'm getting tired. I'm getting with silly things now. All right, so I've got a bit of a quandary here. I was about to attack Novaneth because the Dvar, or Zanna, is going to take that colony in 3 turns. And I've primed all of my main strategic operations: Incineration Strike, Pulse Beam Cannon, and PRX Flash Strike. Now, I don't really want to use the PRX unless I really have to. So I was ready to kind of go ahead. You know, I've got like an army here, really strong one, you know, 1675. And then I've got 3 armies here all ready to go and take that. But Zanna keeps causing me problems. Zanna is now threatening to attack me in Kilnix. Now, I am really low on strength from the battle that I had with Terran in defeating Terran. So I've got 2 heroes here plus my Zenith, my super weapon. And then I have my main commander, my hero, Cindy. And my total power is, what, 1,200 plus the colony, so 1,500, about 2,200. And then we have this army of 1,395 and 851. So it's not looking too clever, and I don't really want to start the combat if I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Incineration Strike on this really powerful army right here. And that was successful, so that's good. So the strength has gone down to 1119 and 851. And I'm also going to do the Pulse Beam Cannon, and I'm going to throw everything I can. That was successful. Brilliant. So now the army power is at 901 versus 682, and then I'm also going to bring out a Plasmoid, and we're going to stick him on as well, just as an extra bit of reinforcements. So now the decision is now, do I attack? And I think the answer is yes. So I am going to attack, and it's now going to be a low risk battle, and we're good. There we go. So I lost my Plasmoid, I lost 2 indentured units, but Zanna's hero was defeated, and I'm not in the best of states. There's still an army here of 5, but at least that's going to hold off for a little while, and has taken Zanna off the map. Now I need to wait 2 turns in order to build up my Incineration Strike and my Pulse Beam Cannon, and we'll do the Incineration Strike first. But I may just go after 1 turn. I believe I have well enough forces now to be able to take this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move forwards 1 turn, and then I'm going to do that. As well, I've still got problems with spawners down here. They keep taking my my various water sectors. So I have some units up here. There we go, of ships, which I'm bringing in. So they're not as powerful as the main unit, but they should be able to deal with at least the marauders that are floating around, so that I can keep those sectors. But as you can see now, the continent down here is looking far more red than it was before. And then, so the plan now is to take, I'm losing myself now, they're up here, there we go, is to take Novaneth, and then jump through this teleport, attack Zanna, and then hopefully we'll then be able to just steamroll our way through. That's the plan. Turn 112, and I do believe it is time now to go after Novaneth. So I was going to do my incineration strike, as I recall. So, now my success chance is too low. So I'm just going to have to go in just as is. But I believe I have enough forces, and I really need to resolve this to move forwards. So I think it's just time to go all in. So I'm going to pull in my units from here. I've got 2 more Mirages I've built. Can they actually reach? Yeah, they can reach as well. So we'll throw everything we can, everything. So there we go. Then we've got this unit here. Can we pop that in there somewhere? I'm trying to see with the map, it's not too clear. Yeah, I can get it in there. And then, can we get them around the back? Yeah, we can get them around the back. So I think we can get all our armies in and take this battle. There we go. Right, so safe battle. And do we want to negotiate? No, we don't want to negotiate. We're just going to go for it. Right, it's going to take a little while for the AI to figure this one out. There we go. And actually, it was an overwhelming win. Did I lose anything? Oh, I lost 1 Mirage. So I think we can accept that loss. Right, so the tide is definitely turned now. My heroes leveled up. I've taken back the colony. I am now at 45 out of 63 sectors. And I think I can pretty much go off and go and take Zanna and take that southeast continent. So, time to move forward. Turn 113, and something else has occurred. I really got my work cut out with this game, I really do. So, what's happened now is S93, who I've had no dealings with whatsoever, declared war with me ages ago, has appeared out of nowhere, coming in from the west, and has come with this insane navy, and taken one of my sectors, and is probably going to be able to take all of my water-based sectors, because I don't have anything to compete against that. I have an army of 5 units, 5 ships on the other side of the continent. And then through this teleport, an army of 5 units has appeared. So I am now being attacked on another front. So I've got my plasma defense up, and my militia power is at full strength at 1300. So it depends how many more units are going to be coming through this teleport. So I've got to decide what I'm going to do about that. I'm not sure yet whether I just let that sector go and just reinforce up Vostavarov as much as I can, and just keep building units in Zelnadar to try and offset that, whilst I continue with my move to the southeast. So I think that's going to be my move. I'm going to let that colony go, and then I'm going to basically just try and get Zelnadar to produce to try and save these colonies up here. What's quite interesting is I've been giving away loads of these sectors to the growth faction, the Paragon, who seem to like this part of the continent. So rather than having wars and all this kind of stuff, I've just been giving them the sectors and getting my sectors somewhere else. So hopefully the Paragon are at war. I think they're at war with S93. Let's have a look. Paragon are at war only with Toku, but the growth. Oh no, the growth are now neutral as well. So S96 has been smart and has made peace with the growth, with the NPCs. So that's not in my best interest. I'll have to see if I can do something about that. I can do sabotage relations with the locals, which is down here. So let's start priming that after my pulse beam cannon, because I think that's going to take priority. Okay, All right, so I need to start moving these units through the teleport. Am I in a position to teleport now? Yeah. All right, so we're going to be moving these units through now into this district and making an attack on Zanna in the meantime. And I'm going to try and take back this colony as well, which is currently independent and belongs to the Marauders. And I think that's in a few turns' time, so I'm going to move that up there. And let's just double check. Yeah, that's turning into a settlement in 4 turns, so I'll be able to get there in time. So I should be able to win that colony over. I think I have enough influence points. All right, catch up with you soon. All right, we are at turn 115, and I tried to go to Cancer Will and convince them to come over to our side. Unfortunately, it requires 75 influence, and I did not have enough. I will have enough on the next turn, and it will be in 2 turns before it turns into a settlement, so I will get there in the nick of time. I've left a prospector here so I can just nip across on the next turn and sort that out. In the meantime, I took all my troops and went up and took Raveneth, and that was without any issues, so I've taken that from Zanna. I will now be moving north up to take Uvondril and then heading east. In the meantime, I've got a Shrike, I've got here, who I'm moving to the right, and I will then do a deploy monitor when I get a bit closer to work out what colonies I can take. So really I want to be taking as many colonies as I can to take over as much territory as I can. Now S98 on the other hand, who was up here, there we go, tried to take Jalazwil and failed. So my militia was able to defend it. But these units, these ships are still off the coast here, still wandering around for some reason, and you know what, they can continue taking my sectors. That's absolutely fine, my water sectors. I'm really not too bothered. I haven't got that many of them, and they're over here to the east. So at the moment I'm busy bringing up my 5 ships, and I am still building Mirages, and obviously the Mirages can fly, so they will be able to provide support as well. So potentially I may be able to get them into one of these naval bases that also has a militia and use that to try and create my defense. And it looks like I can annex another sector, so we're going to do that. I can't annex anything on the ground because the Paragon and the Growth have decided they want all these areas, so that's fine. I will just keep taking sectors. And the same thing here is they took a sector, I'm going to take it back. And they're going to spend more units trying to destroy it, and we're just going to keep that cycling away and just wear down the number of units. So my situation right now is I'm at 44 sectors out of 63. When I do get to the 63 sectors, which shouldn't take too long because, like I say, I'm busy taking over all of these colonies down here. Although for some reason Kilnix is mine, but it's not. You see, it's saying it's owned by me. But it's still flashing for some reason, and I don't know why. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Maybe it's going to take a few turns for it to flip over. I'm tired, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. In fact, what's going on up here? What's that? There we go. I can annex another sector for Kilnix, so that's another one down. So excellent. I will move forwards a few more turns and let you know what's going on, and then hopefully we'll get soon to those last 10 turns and we can get that victory. Turn 118, and I have now taken over Uvondril. That was without too many mishaps, and things were looking okay, but things don't always go to plan, and I have now lost Jalazwil. It looks like S96 has decided to find some forces and start attacking properly. So obviously we've still got these naval units up here, which I'm trying to fend off with my naval units that are coming around from over here. But let's move them up to this sector there. I am also building some more naval units in Jizadar. So I'm going to have to deal with S96 as well. But I've basically taken over all these territories in the southeast down here. So these are pretty much all done now. And I found a teleport right here that leads right into Zanna's territory. So if I can then zoom down to that teleport, and there's another one here, but I believe that one, oh yeah, that one moves me into the right direction as well. So I'm probably going to go off and grab that teleport and skip past the Toku, who at the moment I'm have good relationships with, and deal with that. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do infiltrate operations center, and I've got a 65% chance, and do that on S96 because that's going to basically improve our ability to do covert ops and stuff against. There we go. That was successful against S96. So hopefully then that means I can start doing all the usual stuff like the energy siphons. 65% chance, yeah. Good, that's gone through. And what else can I do? I can do a guerrilla strike. Yeah, I can spawn that. So launch now. And choose the growth and launch that. So we're just going to throw everything we can at S96, and we're going to steal maps as well if we can, just find out what's going on with her. Okay, operation was detected. I don't care, she's at war anyway, so that's not an issue. There we go, so that's opened up the map now. So I can now see where her capital is. It's up there in the top right hand corner, right in the northeast corner. So well out of range from me, and she has to go across water as well to get to me. So that teleport is that only issue, and the teleport is right here, and it goes to Orsnik right there. So I can now see properly. So yes, so, and that's on an island as well. So she has to go through multiple teleports in order to get to me. So not too much of a problem. I don't think. I think I can be taking more territories than she can take from me, because obviously there's only Vostavarov, and what I want to do is I want to prime my plasma ray defense and just try and wear her down. So there you go. So let's move forwards. We're at turn 118. We're making good progress, and I will come back to you soon. So we've made it to turn 120, and S96 made the mistake of bringing one unit through this this teleport to take a look-see, and I was able to fly down my Mirages straight from Zelnadar, take out that army, and then get back into Destinadeth to protect it. So that was a bad move from S96. So her forces have been reduced. You can see there's an army of 5 now and an army of 2. So I think she's not going to progress much there at the moment. Still got these ships here. Now Vostavirov can grab another sector. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to annex it anyway. And once again, just gives them something to attack. In the meantime, I have achieved 80% of sectors required for victory. And that does not include the sectors down here, which is Uvondrial and Raveneth, which have yet to be completely assimilated. I was very close to the army commander of the Kirko, which is Toku, and I think I gave him the willies, so he decided he wanted a non-aggression pact, and I decided, you know what, we can go with that. That's absolutely fine. So we're going to go with the non-aggression pact with the Kirko, because then that will hopefully let us just focus on Zanna. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and steal maps from Zanna. It's only a 25% chance, but I'm going to give it a go. See, my odds, at least the odds have been in my favour. If I'd been at a poker table on a craps table, I'd be doing great right now. But anyway, so I was detected. It doesn't matter. There we go. So we know where the capital is now. It's right there, Agorinsk. So that's where I want to be heading. But it looks like we've got some water in the way. Now, I didn't take this teleport. I decided to take the long way round, because if you could see, it's just in the territory of Toku, and so I would have been trespassing, and I really don't want to be going in the wrong direction in terms of standings with him. So we're going to try and just make our way across the water at some point. But I may just try and take Gagarinsk. It may be enough for me to be able to win the game. Oh, and look down here, we've got some units. So we've got an army from Zanna down here, so I may need to address that. I didn't spot that, and it looks like we can annex another sector. Okay, either way, I need to keep an eye on that. So I've got to decide now whether I keep, you know what, Gagarinsk is probably closer. Where does that teleport go? Oh, that's the teleport that I was going to take. Right, so I'm probably going to go to Gagarinsk, take that, and then double back. I think that's going to be my best option. Now, these guys, we can still keep pushing up the militia power if we can. I don't think we haven't got enough turns to do it really, but we'll add it anyway. We'll do the same for Raveneth. Let's see what the situation is there. That's still being absorbed. So, yeah, that's the plan. So I'm going to go and attack Gagarinsk and then double back and take care of those units and retake those sectors, if that colony, if necessary. Turn 124, and Raveneth has been taken over by Zanna, and her force there is pretty strong. It's like 1,617 plus the militias, 2,000. So I'm about to take Gagarinsk. I have plenty of armies to do that, so that shouldn't be an issue. Then I believe this is an army that belonged to Zanna that just ran away as I approached Gagarinsk. And I found a teleport right here, and this teleport leads right into the territory of Zanna. So that means that I should be able to take this colony as well, and that will now hopefully take me over the number of sectors that I need. With regards to Raveneth, just in case she doesn't go on a rampage in other places, I'm building up some armies here. So I haven't got any heroes, but I've got like a whole bunch of mirages. I've got some ground units as well. And then if I go to my military tab, you will see that I'm building purifier units because they can be built easily by all the colonies in all my colonies. And I'm busy bringing these troops in towards this teleport, which then teleports down to here, which I can then take through to Kanzerwil. So I am trying to reinforce this side as well as using these units. So the idea is that I will be able to take Raveneth without having to bring my armies back, so I can keep my advance onto Zanna. Whilst on the other end, right up in the northwest, we're down to just 3 units there with S96. And she hasn't made any more progress except taking some sectors around in the water areas, which is not an issue. So that's all fine, and I am just progressing now and racing now against the clock, because obviously we've got to do this before 150 turns. And you know, I keep getting set back, but I am making progress. I am at 55 sectors out of 63. Now you need to do this before turn 140, because obviously there's the 10 turns then of having to keep all those sectors, which is why I need to take way more, which is why I need to keep attacking Zanna. So I will take over Evondrial, which is another 4 sectors, and then I will hopefully take back Raveneth. But in the meantime, I will get another 5 sectors here, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. And then I will hopefully take Warovsky, which is another 4 or 5 sectors, and then move into Estivev. So I think Zanna's forces are running out, and I should be able to maintain my flow, but we shall see. Oh, just one last thing as well. My research, by the way, I've just been going on with my research. As you can see from this point on, we're kind of so committed that I really don't need to be researching anything else. In fact, my military tree, I'm just researching the top of the tree because I did all those research tabs. It's left me in a position where I kind of pretty much got everything. So unless I need to get in a really high risk situation where I need to use manual combat at the end, I'm just basically just adding everything, and if I need it, then I can use it. Right, now we can move on. Right, we're at turn 127, and I popped my head through this teleport down to Warovsky, and I decided that was not a good idea. Basically, Zanna has like an army worth 5,000 in power there, and it's going to be like a full-on head-to-head battle, and that may completely lose me the game. If I lose that battle, then it's all over for me. So I am going to retreat from that. So I'm going to essentially move my unit out, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep all my units in the area to stop. Let me just teleport back. I really don't want to be staying around there. There we go. And I'm going to move myself into a spot somewhere. There we go, just there will do. So I'm not going to take on Vorovsky. I'm going to leave that for the time being and see what happens. I think with Gagarinsk, I should be fine. I'm at 55 of 63. I am going to attack Raveneth early. I'm going to go for it now because if it fails, I can always come in with my other armies. It's not that far. So I'm going to make that move. What I'm going to do, obviously, is I'm going to soften them up beforehand with the good old incineration strike. Okay, it failed, but they still lost 20% damage, or they still received 20% damage. We're going to do the Pyrex flash strike as well. We're going to no, I don't want to do the Pyrex flash strike. I want to do the pulse beam cannon, and we're going to launch that. Okay, that failed, but they still took 10% damage, so we're weakening them. So that's the main thing. I'm going to help myself out with a plasmoid. There we go. We're going to launch the plasmoid right there. And we're going to go in and see what we can achieve. Now, we're kind of really going on with this game, so I really don't want to have to manual combat it if I can. Okay, it's a high-risk battle. We're going to go for it. And we're going to see what happens. Alright, so I lost. So, not the end of the world. He's down to 5 units. Still got a pretty strong power. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to double back with all these units and start moving all these units forward to try and take on this colony, take Raveneth, and then we've got to keep an eye on this teleport to make sure that we don't end up in a situation where Zanna starts coming through. So we're just going to get ourselves as close as we can. I don't think we can do it in one move, but we can get ourselves pretty close. There we go. I think I've moved everybody I can move. Now I can move one more. There we go. So we're going to do that. I'm going to prime these again because we're going to need them. So I'm going to prime my incineration and my pulse beam. So that's already ready to go. So that's good. And I'm going to continue bringing my reinforcements through. So they are having to crawl over the mountains from this side. But anyway, so I've got some there. You're going to see me, not going to watch me move all these units. I've got some more here that I can bring forwards as well. So we're going to pop those on top of there. And I will do the same. S96 is not doing anything. It's just sitting up there, so that's fine. I'm still producing units in Destineth. Zelnadar, I'm going to produce some more Mirages. Can I produce some more Mirages? No, because I've used all my energy up to create the strategic operations. So it's a little bit tight now. I'm going to move these from Novaneth up into Destineth as well because they're close to that teleport, and I don't have my plasma defense, which I had before. That seems to have expired. So we're going to leave that there, and then I'm going to continue moving all my units forwards. All right, see you in a mo. Right, we're at turn 130, and it is very much tit for tat. I have taken back Raveneth. I did that with overwhelming force. That was fine. And in the meantime, Zanna popped through the teleport and went back and retook Gagarinsk. So I have taken back, I think it's 5 sectors here, but I've got 56, 63, so that gives me 61, so I still need 2 sectors. So, and I need to do it before turn 140. I've got 10 turns to do it. So where it goes from here is I think I go all out on Gagarinsk. I need to retake Gagarinsk, and then I need to hold that teleport. In the meantime, I'll need 350 energy and 50 cosmite to build another colonizer, and then hopefully I can build that in a couple of turns and get it across to somewhere like here, Neutron Ward, and try and build another colony up here, which will help me get those 2 sectors regardless of whether I lose Gagarinsk or not, if I retake it, that is, of course. So things are all over the place, and I'm trying to pull it back. So I'm going to infiltrate Operations Center on Zanna and see if I can start managing some operations. So I'm going to do things. I've got plenty of influence. I've got everything that I need already primed, except incineration strikes. So we're going to do that. But I'm going to try and get my energy siphon. Although I'm doing fine on that, I think it's more sabotage relations with locals. Now there you go, that one's going to probably be a much better one for me, so that's going to come in next turn, so that's fine. And see if I can do that and cause some aggro with the NPC factions for Zanna. In the meantime, I've not had anything from S96, and I'm just going to leave that to be and just throw everything at Zanna, and we're going to see how it pans out. So we're at turn 135, and it is getting close to the wire. I have Raveneth. I managed to take back Gagarinsk, and as expected, I was making my way back to the teleport to try and cover it, and now Zanna has brought in her heavy units. So there's an army of 1448, and one I don't know the forces, and another one of 547. So I am now running backwards to try and catch this army before it gets to Raveneth. I've got another force coming in here to try and protect it, and I may have to go and engage them to try and stall them so that I can actually migrate the colony. So the colony is migrating in one turn, and I need to keep it. I have also put down a colonizer up here to try and help me, because I am at 56 or 63 sectors and I'm struggling to get past it. And to add to the problems, the Paragon have declared war on me again. And they're up here and they want to try and take Vostovarov. And the Growth faction keep demanding more territories up here. As you can see, my amount of territories up here is reduced drastically because of the Paragon and the Growth faction, who have caused me no end of trouble. So I have plenty of energy, and obviously I've just got to keep priming everything, make sure that Incineration Strike is primed. I'm going to be needing that. And pretty much everything else is irrelevant right now. It was all coming down to this battle with Zanna. So I'm going to wait a turn, and then we're going to see what happens with these units. The one thing to my advantage of this is a heavy unit and it's very slow, and it may give me just enough time to at least engage and slow them down. So in fact, I could probably do an Incineration Strike now and start trying to reduce this army somewhat, and then I can prime it straight away again so that it's ready for the next turn. So there we go, it's started. Turn 136, and that Incineration Strike was enough to cause Zanna to retreat through the teleport. But you can see her forces down here are just insane. There is just so many forces that is going to be critical. I've got to try and keep Zanna in Vorovsky. In the meantime, her naval forces have attacked one of my sectors, so I've lost a sector, and I'm flying down all of my flying units as fast as I can. I've got 2 Mirages here, I've got another 5 or 6 of them here, I have another 5 or 6 coming from over there, and I've got to try and get them down here and get rid of this army so it stops taking my sectors, so it doesn't get to Lock's Landing or to Jagged Reef. It's all up against the wire, really. I've got 61 of 63 sectors. I need 2 more sectors, and then I'm down to my 10 turn time limit. We're at turn 136. And then I've got to try and constrain Zara. I'm taking over Gagarinsk, and that takes 4 turns, so that will be on turn 140. And that will give me another 3 or 4 sectors as a backup. And then I have as well my new colony up here, where I am going to put everything onto growth in one. So in one turn I can claim another sector. So that's going to help out as well, because I'm clearly going to lose 2 or 3 sectors during those 10 turns. So we're going to have to see how it plays out and how quickly I can deal with this. All right, we're at turn 140, and literally on turn 140 I have entered the final stage, and it's saying that I basically need to hold these sectors for 10 rounds. I got 66 sectors. The thing is the game ends at 150 turns based on points. So I don't know when we get to turn 150, if I manage to keep my sectors, whether I will win or not. So it is still up for grabs right up to the very last turn. But I have 3 sectors in my favour, and on top of that I managed to rush build a colonizer, and drop a colonizer. Where was it? Here we go, in Azagal. So I literally just built this colonizer right now. We're going to maximize that, and I believe there we go, Evneric can actually annex another sector, so that gives me another sector as well. Although some of these are special sites, so I'm going to have to go offshore and hope that there's no spawners around. There's a spawner nest over there, so I will try and put it as far away as I can. So I'll use Gleaming Coast and we'll annex that as well. And I need to be nice to to Toku. I've not been paying him enough compliments, so I need to keep him on board at least for the next 10 turns. So that's where all my influence is going to be going. And then I've literally just got to sit tight on this teleport and hope for the best. I tried to take on the forces down here with just one of my forces, and it wasn't enough. And so their army won. I've now moved some of my flying units into this area, so I've now got a militia of 1,070 and an army power 1376. So hopefully that's going to be enough. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm building another Hydromancer as well, so that's going to give me some more force there, which may be enough to hold them off. I've got my little plasmoid there that I was trying to bring in for reinforcements, so we'll just pop him next to there so he's actually useful. And that's it. We have now got to basically hang out for 10 rounds. I received a proposal. Offer a defensive pact. Yes, I will accept a defensive pact. Perfect. I have an unexploited sector. Yeah, that's the one I just grabbed. So it'll be that one. We'll upgrade that to an energy sector. Oh, there we go. Hydro exploitation. I've actually got an energy exploitation as well I need to do, because I've been so sidetracked with all of this. Zanu and Toku are neutral towards each other. Well, they're not anymore because we've just done a defensive pact. So Zana's at war, although Toku can't do very much. Toku's kind of at the bottom of the pile, really. So in terms of rankings, I'm ranking 5 out of 6, which I don't know how I'm managing that, considering 2 of the enemies are already dead and Toku's not actually in the rankings anymore. It's a race between S96, Zanna and me. Zanna has definitely got the strongest force. Is this another sector I can annex? It does look like it, so I can annex it for Gagarinsk. Yeah, we're going to take that. I'll take all the sectors I can right now. All right, come back to you soon. So I was literally just moving on to turn 141, and guess who came through the teleport? Zanna came through the teleport with everything. And as you can see, she's engaged me, so I can't retreat. I have to take this battle, and I've got to decide whether I auto combat it or manual combat it. Now, if I manual combat, this is going to go into a part 5, which I really don't want to do. This has really gone on long enough. I think I'm going to go auto combat and see what happens. My defender power is less by about 500, but I have way more tactical operations and stuff, so I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it auto combat. Here goes. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes. All right, that changes things substantially. I have virtually no forces left. So if S96 goes against me, then that's a problem. But this was my biggest threat. So I have a few forces left. Look, there's one dude left there from Zanna. So poor dude, you're going to die, mate. Sorry. And let's check down here. Oh, and there's still forces to come through. That's all she could fit through the teleport. So what's going on there? I need to go back to what was going on. So yeah, it's not over. I may still lose. What's this proposal from Toku? Yeah, I'll have an alliance, please. I need all the help I can get, because when this lot come through, I don't think I can take that on. That is way beyond my capabilities. It's going to be a close call, I think. All right, so we're going to have to just move forward and see what happens. Turn 141, and I've grouped all my armies together. Also, I had the hero resurrection protocol because I lost a hero down when I was making my sort of attempt to save Stone Splinter Reef. So I resurrected my hero and popped her in Gagarinsk. So she's there. So I can't get her involved at the moment, but hopefully I will be able to bring her down at some point. And actually I need to check to make sure she's got mods on her and stuff now. Does she keep her mods? Yeah, so she keeps all her mods and everything. We'll give her a Mirage. There we go. You jump into a Mirage, my dear, and we'll give you the spatial acceleration cells. Can we do that? I should be able to, shouldn't I? Why is that not doing it? Okay, I will worry about that later. Let's just make sure we get you in your Mirage. Okay. I am now bringing in reinforcements. So these are the reinforcements that I had for down on the South Shore. I was building some more Purifier units. I've got some more Mirages coming in from there. I'm building loads of units in Vondril as well to try and reinforce. So I am bringing everything to the party. So we shall see how it all pans out. Turn 142, and Zanna's making a run for Gagarinsk and trying to take Gagarinsk from me. So Rosky has now been left pretty much empty and is an all or nothing. So I'm going to try and attack now because I will still have the benefit of my colony militia power. But I think I can take this now. So I've got some units, let's see here. So I can bring these units to bear right there, and I should be able to just attack these three armies and get all my units deployed on there. So right, so now I literally just have this one army which can then attack there. I think these guys, oh, it's almost moved something in the wrong direction there. Can I get these guys into the fray as well? No, they're too far away. So all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do our incineration strike, so I want to go for the strongest army, which is going to be this one. So we want to do our incineration strike right there. Okay, so that's 20% of their power gone. Good, and then can I get my pulse beam cannon straight away? Yes, I can. Right, now the pulse beam cannon, it affects adjacent armies as well, so I've got to be careful because I don't know if it's going to affect my army. So if I pop it on this one, it will affect this dude, and him. So there we go. So all three armies have taken 20% damage. So now they are drastically reduced. So it is time to go in, and it's a low risk battle. So auto combat for that one, I think, and that should work in our favor, I hope, based on what happened last time. Yeah, and we've won. So once again, we've had our losses. Nothing too bad. I didn't lose any heroes. My health was really low on these. So and the benefit as well is I could have gone in and done it in manual combat if I wanted to afterwards. So that's good. So we've got this one unit left who's the commander, who's Zanna. So can we go after Zanna? No, I don't think we can go after Zanna just yet. Yes, I have. I've got army power 440 and my army power is at 881. Can I? Yep, I think we can send Zanna home as well. There we go. Let's do that. And that's it. So Zanna's gone. Okay, so now I'm in a position to go and attack Vorovsky. So I will attack Vorovsky, and then that will hopefully, or do I really need to do that? Well, my forces are now where they are, that I'm committed. I have enough sectors. So I think we are just going to sit tight. It says victory in 8. So I don't need to train anything right now. I can always add things to my skill queue in a minute, but it's not really that important. I think we've gotten over the worst of it, and I will come back to you in a mo. All right, so we're at turn 144. We are 6 turns from victory. And Zanna has not given up yet. As you can see, there's some more armies on the way. I don't know what the power is of these armies, but she's basically just grabbing everything she's got, and it looks like she's going to try and bring them through this teleport. And I am sitting here waiting with reinforcements, and I still have my hero, who I could actually now move. There we go. Into position. So I'm ready for when Zanna makes her approach. The only thing that's a bit of concern is over on this side. Obviously I'm still at war with the Paragon, and up here Destineth, you can see that there's two armies here. There's one of 1690 and one of 1076, 2600, 2700, and I don't have my plasma ray defense. It expired, so I've moved as many troops as I had as in Zelnadar down. So I have a militia of 1290, an army power of 600, so let's say 2000, and then I've got another sort of 800 or so here. So I'm hoping that's going to be enough to put them off. I don't know if attacking them with incineration strike and stuff is going to annoy them, so I really don't know. So I'm going to leave it as is, and we're going to see how it turns out. So turn 145, and here we are again. Zanna is making another run for Gagarinsk. This time I think I've got more troops available to me. So we're basically going to repeat exactly what we did before. So we're going to place our units, as many of our units around as we can. And I have a few more units now. So let me see if I can get this the right way round. So we can get this one into here, and then get this unit round the top. And can I then get this unit to come? Yeah, this unit can then hopefully come right in. Have I got enough space to do that? I'm not sure. So I'm going to wait before I do that. And obviously because I need to do my usuals, which is my incineration strike, which needs to go on this unit. That's the largest one. So on the bulwark. So incineration strike here, which was successful, and then we pulse beam cannon, which affects multiple hexes, and it looks like I may affect one of my units doing this, so I think I'm gonna have to put it there. No, it looks like it just affects their units, so that's good. And then I will see if I can bring this unit straight in. If not, then I'll have to bring another one in. No, okay, so I can just bring this one forwards. There we go. And we have a safe battle again. This time I've got twice the power, so we should be fine. We haven't lost any heroes. Looks like I lost one unit, so that is absolutely fine. And I will catch up with you soon and see if we can achieve this victory. Right, I'm at turn 149. I am one turn from victory. The only thing that happened was that Zanna came up and took a couple of my sectors in the water with the ships, but it wasn't enough to take the lead. But the Paragon have just declared like all-out war on me, and I think they're going to go for Vostovirov, but Vostovirov has only got one sector, and I think it's enough. I don't have enough to do peace. I checked, and to do peace with the Paragon would require that I give them, there we go, 1370 energy, which I don't have enough of, and 200 influence, and I've only got 173, so I've got to decline. So all I have to do now is just hit this button and wait for the turn to happen and see if I did it or not. So let's see if they attack Vostovirov, and let's see if anything unexpected happens. Alright, so Zanna's taking another one of my colonies, of my sectors, but I still think I have enough. Okay, we're not too worried about Toku. Now the independents are moving, so this is the Paragon, so what are they up to? No, they seem to be wandering off in a completely different direction, because that's one big force right there. So I think they've finished their move. And now the other opponents are moving, and no, they're still running around.
A victor stands proud upon the ruins of his enemies.
There we go, did it! Right on the button, right at the very end. So that was proper nail biting. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm actually running out of time on my camera, so I'm going to say I hope you enjoyed what I do. Please subscribe if you want to find out more about what I do. Hit the bell icon to get notifications, and give me a like if you enjoyed this. That was a close call. That was about as tight as we could make it, and I've still got a little bit enough time on my camera to say thank you very much and see you next time. Bye.